Before we dive into today's episode, let me introduce today's sponsor, VR Wave. If you've ever struggled with fitting your eyeglasses into your headset or worried about scratching those precious lenses, then you need to check out VR Wave. The lenses are custom made to correct nearsightedness, farsightedness, and astigmatism, tailored exactly to your prescription. No glasses, no hassle, just pure VR immersion. Even if you've got perfect vision, VR Wave's blue light filter and anti-glare lenses are a must-have. They reduce eye fatigue and help protect your sleep by filtering out harmful blue light. Trust me, your eyes will thank you after those long VR sessions. What I think is really great about them, well, the lenses attach magnetically, making it super easy to switch and play. Plus, they are now available for Quest 3 and Quest 3S, so you are covered if you're upgraded. Shipping is worldwide and ordering is simple. Just head over to www.vr-wave.store and fill out the online form. VR Wave is an MRTV trusted company and the lenses will be a game changer for your VR experience. And you even get a 5% discount on all products when you use code MRTV at checkout. Thanks again VR Wave for sponsoring today's episode. Alright, and now let's jump into the show.
Welcome to the Next Dimension Podcast, your portal to an extended reality. Every week we talk about the hottest topics in XR and let you join the discussion live on MRTV. And now, get ready for another exciting episode coming up.
Hi and welcome to the Next Dimension Podcast, your podcast that's all about VR, AR, mixed reality and all the good stuff. Today is a fantastic day because we have a premiere. We have Mark Scheierman from Get Your Game On here for the very first time. Mark, how are you doing?
Man, Sebastian, thank you for having me on. And I gotta start off by saying you are the first person ever to pronounce my last name better than I do. So good job. It's awesome being on a channel with a German host. I appreciate that. So thanks for having me on, man. I've been a fan for a while. I was watching you back when I was first getting into VR, you and Sweetviver and a few of the others out there. But yeah, been watching you for a while.
Oh, cool. Great to know. Yeah, and for your name, yeah, it's obviously a super German name, right? Yeah. So your ancestors somewhere were living close to my ancestors in Germany, and yeah, that's why I can pronounce it so well. Yeah, perfect, man. I'm really looking forward to the show. I'm glad to have you on here for the first time. I really enjoy watching your YouTube content. So for everyone out there who doesn't know Mark yet, you have to subscribe to his channel like now. and the name of the channel is called Get Your Game On, and yeah, that's exactly what it's about. Like, tell us a bit about your YouTube channel, Mark.
It's funny. I looked it up. I've been doing it about 3.5 years now, and it actually started as kind of a whim because I'm heavily into motion simulators. I love simulators, racing, flight, space, any of that stuff is really what I enjoy. And so we were, building the platform, and I was going to do a blog post. And, I was taking pictures and everything, and my buddy that was helping me goes, why don't you do a YouTube video? And I'm like, nobody's going to have any interest in what I have to say. Nobody's going to watch a channel. Why would I waste my time? And he proved me wrong because, man, the channel started growing and people started asking questions, and I love it. Good. I mean, it's cool. So that's where it all started. Like I said, it's been about 3.5 years, and the community keeps growing, and it's a really good community. I think you probably would agree. I was so ready for the trolls when I did my first video. I mean, I was like, bring it on, let's go. And man, I had fantastic people show up with interest and good questions. And, we get the occasional troll once in a while, but just a great community. Absolutely love the VR sim enthusiast community. It's just fantastic to be a part of it.
Absolutely agree. I also love this community, and yeah, it's a very tight-knit community, very good people, very helpful as well, right? Yeah. If you're a newcomer, if you want to get into Microsoft Flight Simulator, wow, you will find fantastic Discord servers and people who are going to help you, and it's fun. It's fun to be here. And about the trolls and haters, yes, yes, they're there too. But honestly, I must say, for me, actually enjoy it. It sounds crazy. It sounds crazy.
No, I
but
get it.
if you have haters, it means you're doing something right.
Yeah,
Means somebody cares about you, because those
Yeah.
haters, they care more about you and your stuff than many others. Like, they watch every video and they write long comments, which is super great for your engagement, right? So I love to have them in the comment section and laugh about what they have to say. So
Yeah, it's interesting because I make a point not to I try not to delete any posts. In fact, I don't think I've ever
the same with
deleted a
me.
post.
Same
it's
with
like
me.
I'll let you speak your mind, and if you're somewhat civil, and if you're trying to have a discussion, I'm all about the back and forth. If I
Right.
get the obvious trolls, I answer them once, and that's it. I don't feed the trolls, but it's
I feed them
a cool
sometimes.
deal. Yeah,
Yeah.
There's been some good fights on there. I tell you what, back and forth. But hey, go back and watch the comments. You get some entertainment just out of that too.
Yeah, exactly. The comment sections are fun most of the time.
Yeah.
And I'm exactly about the same thing, free speech. So I also don't delete comments and let people say what they want to say. Just if it gets like too bad, like completely
Yeah.
racist or some shit like this, then
Yeah.
of course I will delete it or so. But
Yeah.
if it's just like the typical hater, bring it on. Yeah, cool.
When they
Very
tell me
good.
I'm old and I'm fat, that's okay. Everybody's welcome to their opinion, and sometimes you just can't fight the facts sometimes. But, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, cool. So for all of you out there who are listening to this or watching this for the first time, this is the Next Dimension podcast. It is all about XR, and this should this should be published every week, but sometimes now, it doesn't work every week, so every second week or so. Anyways, it's worth it to listen to it and to watch it. This is being published on MRTV, but also as an audio podcast everywhere where you can find audio podcasts. So you can listen to this while you're at work on Mondays, for example, to make time go faster or something like that. And if you enjoy this podcast, we would be super happy if you would give it a 5-star review on iTunes or Spotify. Just take out your iPhone or iPad, find the podcast app, find this podcast, and give it a 5-star review so that more people can find it, and that would be amazing. So today we have a couple of interesting topics. First of all, I want to understand a bit more about Mark's VR history, because Mark is actually you're from the motor. How to say that? How to say that?
Motorsports? You can just motorsports.
Yeah, exactly.
Racing.
Exactly. You've been in motorsports and actually driving those race cars and drag cars. It's so super exciting. What an interesting industry. So I want to talk a bit about that.
Sure.
And then how it translates to your enjoyment of VR, and actually how good VR is able to replicate the real deal. So that is the first topic that we're going to talk about. Then, of course, we're going to talk about Android XR and the new Samsung XR headset that they have told us about. Looking forward to discuss this and to find out about our opinions about this and how the XR landscape is actually being shaped in the next few years. That's going to be super exciting. Very exciting. And then, of course, we're also going to talk about Pimax, our favorite topic. Mark, it has been such a big topic on your channel in the recent weeks, right?
Yeah, it definitely took off a bit.
It did.
It's been a popular video for sure.
Yeah.
So
right. So for all of you who have not heard about it or watched Mark's video, it was about Mark's not so great experience with the service, right? With the Pimax service.
Yeah. It went from loving the headset and just couldn't wait. I was super enthusiastic about it to just a comedy of errors on Pimax, and probably I'm sure I had something to do with it as well, but comedy of errors that just led to this unfortunate event of terrible customer service. That being said, Pimax has reached out to me and they're trying to make it right, and so I'm willing to give them the benefit of the doubt, but we'll get into that later. We can talk all about that. So
yeah, exactly. So it's going to be a great show. And again, thanks, Mark, for being here on the podcast today.
My
pleasure. All right, let's directly jump into it. So, Mark, Tell us a bit about your career in motorsports. Not like the whole 10-minute deal, like your video when you did the 5,000 subscribers, but in general, tell us a bit what you've been racing. What did you do?
I will, we'll try to keep it short. If you're really interested, there's a video on the channel that goes into my history. But I got addicted to cars and speed and all of that stuff at pretty much as soon as I started driving. A friend of mine said, "Hey, do you want to come and race, drag race at our local track?" And I went there, and I was 16, and I was fortunate enough that first year I actually won the track championship, and I went all the way to what you would consider regionals. So it was the next step up to defend or to compete for my track, and I actually took second place on that one. Should have won it, but young and inexperienced kicked my butt. But I took second, so the hook was set. And after that, I built a 150 mile an hour dragster that I raced for many years, and built it, drove it all over the country, big trailer and all that. And, I got to the point where I realized I wanted to do this for a living, but everybody out there wants to be a race car driver, and it takes a lot of money and all that. So knowing I wanted to make a career out of it, I took a step back from the actual driving and got on the business side of it, the marketing side, the sponsorship side. And I spent a lot of years, pretty much all my my adult years, working with various teams all the way to the professional levels. I've worked with some pretty big names. If you're not into drag racing, you won't recognize them. But like Erica Enders, who's a multi-time world champion, I've worked with her. I've started a number of Top Fuel teams and helped them, like Steve Torrance, who's a multi-time world champion. Just too many people to even mention. But I've climbed that mountain. I feel like I've gotten to the top of that mountain. And then when that big world event with the masks happened, it really put a damper on motorsports in general. And at that point, I was like, well, what's next? And I've always loved VR. I've always loved immersive gaming. I've always loved sim, all this stuff. So again, with the start of the YouTube channel, that kind of sent me on a path I hadn't expected to do. And here we are. I'm talking to you now. So that's in a nutshell kind of my history. But and I still love going fast. I still, I love all that stuff.
Wow, so interesting. So, tell us, which headset are you using now for your VR adventures?
Well, now I'm using the Quest 3 after having sent the Pimax Crystal back. Right. I got to tell you, I went back to the Quest 3.
It's a pretty amazing headset, huh?
I am blown away by how close that headset can get to those, multiple $1,000 headsets. Anybody new to VR, Quest 3 is the answer. It's just an amazing value. It's so good, and I just am blown away. I'm coming from this $1,500 headset, and I'm back to a Quest 3, and I'm like, it's really not that bad. But I have had a Vario Aero that I loved that headset. I've gone all the way back. I went back to the DK2. That was the first headset I'd ever used. Was the DK2, and then got the original Vive. Got the Vive Pro, which I love. I love OLED. Anybody that watched my channel,
me too.
I'm an OLED snob. I love OLEDs. And I just, I can't wait. So the Megan X. I got to ask you some questions about that. But that thing came up, and I'm going, that might be my next headset. That might be the one that I go to next.
We need to get this into your hands. Let me pull some strings to make this happen.
Oh, hey. Again, I love OLED. I love OLED.
This is crazy, man. This is really wow. I've seen all the headsets, right? But this, to make a headset blow my mind, it takes a lot. And this really did it. Like OLED, like this super high resolution, super comfortable. You don't feel it anymore on your head. Like, yes. Good lenses. Wow.
I love lighthouse tracking. I know everybody's a pain in the butt, but
then it's perfect.
I love lighthouse tracking. So this, the only thing I don't like about the Megan X, otherwise I'd have an order right now. I wish it had on-headset audio. That's the only thing that I wish we had because, it's like the Aero, because the Vario Aero we had to wear, that's where these came from. I bought these for the Vario Aero. And it's just such an extra step of having to put that on. If they had on headset audio, it'd already be in my cart, purchased by. But but I'm excited about it. Did you see any glare or anything since you're one of the very few fortunate?
Right.
My big concern is pancake lenses tend to have glare, and I see it in the Quest 3 even. Did you see much glare in there?
That's a great thing. I did not see much glare, and it's so good. So, yeah, exactly. So there is still some glare, like all pancake lenses have it.
Yeah.
But it's way better than the Big Screen Beyond. The Big Screen Beyond is also a very nice headset that I love, but it has so much glare, unfortunately, that it can yank you out of the immersion.
Yeah.
So that was one of the main points that I want to find out when I went to Tokyo to check it out. Like, okay, how are the lenses? Does it have like a bad edge-to-edge clarity like the Beyond and the glare? And I'm really glad to report back to the community, like, no. It has a really great edge-to-edge clarity, and there's so little glare. It's comparable to the Quest 3 lenses, and the Quest 3 lenses are really good pancake lenses.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
That's awesome. My wallet is angry with you now because now you're making it to spend money even worse.
Yeah.
So
that is my superpower, being able to make people spend money on XR
they say I make wallets bleed. When you come to my channel, I make your wallet bleed.
Same here.
Sorry, but I'm spending it. I'm spending my own too. So misery loves company. So.
Me too. Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm also spending it, and it's our hobby, right? And I think it's fine to spend on our hobby. It's what makes us happy, and we're still even better off than somebody who has a hobby of like cars or flying.
I was spending so much more money. When I was racing, the amount of money I spent every year racing my own car is nothing.
That's right.
What we're doing now is nothing compared to what that cost, and that was back in the 80s. So, yes, it is expensive, but the reward you get from it, to me, it's best value out there. I love it. Yeah, so one last question about the Megan X. I have to ask you. So the FOV obviously is smaller. Did you feel like in the G2, the Quest 2, I always felt really it was too small. The Quest 2, I was like, I didn't like it. It was too small. The HP was okay, but it felt small, but I was okay with it. Where would you say the FOV felt on the Megan X? Was it somewhere around G2 level? Was it a little bigger than G2?
It is a bit bigger than G2. It is okay. It is more round than G2. Yep. G2 was like oval. It's okay. I like oval shape. But this is really like round. Like I'm not sure if you have ever looked through the Pico 4. But like this. No, it's not in the States, right? The Pico 4, exactly. Yeah. So it is round. And it has a very good binocular overlap, which is very important for me. I love binocular overlap. And so it is a bit bigger than the G2. So it's not huge, but it's good enough, in my opinion. So,
it's going to be
Megan X.
It's going to be
people will love it.
I think it's going to, man, is it too late? Well, it's not out yet. I can't put it on my Christmas list because it's not even available yet, but it will definitely be going on the wish list, maybe birthday present. I don't know. We'll see. But you've sold me on it. I think
you will love it.
That's the next one.
Yeah. Many people will love it. It's finally a headset that ticks so many boxes, right? If it also had audio, I agree that it would be perfect. Like this extra step of having to put on another thing, I also don't enjoy it. So it would be better if it was just one thing. Yeah. Well, anyways,
let's talk about something else before you make me buy two of them.
Okay. So you mentioned actually how good the Quest 3 is, and boy, you're so right. It's crazy. I have all the headsets here, right? Everything, and then now recently with Microsoft Flight Simulator 24, I tested them all again, and it was just shocking to see how good the Quest 3 performs, even wirelessly. I'm a big fan of like DisplayPort. Probably you as well, right? But
it was so good until the Quest 3.
Right,
the Quest 3.
Damn.
And I don't know if you have this issue. I mean, I always hear about the compression, and I know what compression is. I know what artifacting is. I've seen it. Yeah, right. In the Quest 3, if you have a good router, like I have a 6E router, I have a good. I don't see compression or any artifacting. Everybody's like, you just don't know what you're looking for. I'm like, no, I do know, and it's not there. I'm telling you, this headset, if you tweak it and you do the bandwidth right and you use virtual desktop and crank that up, especially with the new video card where you do the AV1, it's as good as wired. I'm just telling you. You're not going to believe me, but it's as good as wired.
I was exactly as shocked as you probably were when you saw it.
Oh yeah,
I
was shocked.
So I was using also now finally virtual desktop with the latest AV1 method. Yeah, right, codec. And wow, you're right, man. It looks so good. And I must also say I was hard pressed to see anything in terms of compression. It's so good. Like Gigo Dan from virtual desktop, he's like a genius, right? For
Yes.
this kind of, this is unbelievable. The
Best piece of
person on the
software.
planet. The best man
piece of
on the
software.
planet. Yeah, really, really.
If you
Like-
got a Quest 3 and you're doing PCVR, virtual desktop isn't optional. It's a must.
No,
That is the first thing you should buy, in my opinion. So
No.
there you go. I'm not
Hugo
opinionated
Dahl,
at all.
the developer of virtual desktop, he's basically a god. A god.
Yeah.
Yeah, really. It's so good. Yeah, so the Quest 3, how it can compete with all these high-end headsets, it's crazy. So yeah.
Yep.
I agree with what you're saying. Unfortunately, this also means I can shut down my channel because everybody can just buy a Quest 3 and is good to go. But yeah,
There'll always be something else.
It's it's crazy. And you know what also is crazy? Actually, like my daily driver now for standalone is actually the Quest 3S. I like it. I really like it a lot.
I have a pretty strong opinion about that.
I saw your video about it where you say like, oh, it's the wrong headset for most of people.
Yeah.
And you know, I want to disagree with you here in this show.
Let's discuss it. Discuss it. My point, just so you know my stance. My stance is the Quest 3S is the right headset for somebody that's on a tight budget and they simply can't afford anything else, because some VR is better than no VR. So I think the Quest 3S,
that's what I think
and
too,
I'm
actually.
thankful it's out there. I don't want to say they should have made it. It's got a market. But the difference you get for $200 extra going to a Quest 3 is so monumental. It's such a huge step going to pancake lenses, more memory, all the things that come with the Quest 3. I just think anybody that can afford to go to a Quest 3, go to a Quest 3. It's the best upgrade you can get.
It's
so again,
true.
I'm not saying nobody should buy the Quest 3S, but if you can afford to get the Quest 3, don't buy a Quest 3S. Get the Quest 3. It's a vastly superior experience. Yeah. That's my stance. So I'm willing to listen to you.
No, honestly, I also agree with that, actually. If you have enough money, you're right, if you can afford $200, if $200 doesn't mean anything to you, then sure, get the pancake lenses. They are wonderful, and it's just better to read text, for example, right? You have this better edge-to-edge clarity, and you don't have these problems with the God rays, right? Like the Fresnel lenses have. Yeah. Me too. Me too. Agree.
And I can't go back to Fresnel. That's my problem. I mean, that's the problem with the PC. You know, the PSVR 2. I can't go back to Fresnel lenses.
Oh wow. Okay, that's what I thought too. But actually, I am now using the Quest 3S, and it also does have one huge advantage, and it's. You know, MRTV is quickly becoming binocular overlap TV.
There you go.
Yeah, because really the binocular overlap is better in the Quest 3S than in the Quest 3. For the Quest 3, they kind of sacrifice a bit of the overlap to get more FOV, right? So that's you can get used to it, but I really enjoy the visuals of the Quest 3S, even though it has Fresnel lenses. And
I'll give you that point. I'll give you that point. The overlap, that definitely.
The overlap is nice. And I agree. I would not want to read text in the Quest 3S or work or something, do something like this. But for gaming, when you're actually in the game, the visuals are nice. If your IPD fits, of course, if your IPD is somewhere in between those three steps, no, go for the Quest 3. But I really want to defend the Quest 3S. It's a good
one other
too.
point I want to make about the Quest 3S, and we'll see if you agree with me or not. The field of view is 14 degrees wider. It's 110 on the Quest 3, and it's 94 or 97 somewhere in there.
Yeah, 96-ish, 98-ish.
You're talking over 10 degrees field of view. To me, 10 degrees of field of view. You know, we were always excited about 5 more degrees of field of view. To me, the difference in the field of view for that extra $200, that's. But again, I know you like the binocular overlap, so there's the trade-off.
I do, but also, actually, when you get close to the lenses, like with probably a different kind of facial interface, like I have a different facial interface, which brings me closer to the lenses, then also the FOV is also fine. So you can, you need lens inserts.
I got them.
Okay, you have the lens inserts, right?
Oh, yeah. I don't wear glasses in VR headsets after scratching the lenses on too. Public service announcements: never wear your glasses in a VR headset. I've ruined 2 VR headsets because I was so arrogant. Oh no, I'll be careful. No,
yeah, right. No, it doesn't work. Same here. I also scratched lenses, so since then always lens inserts. Yeah. So yeah, I really think for $300 the Quest 3S is an incredible headset. Really, really. And I don't think it's not as bad as many people have made it look. Including like you, including you.
I'm one of those. That's me.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's a good headset. If especially for newcomers who don't want to spend $500 on a headset. Probably there are people who have $500, but on a new and for them unproven technology. In my opinion, it's fine to try with the Quest 3S. They will fall in love with it, and then they can still upgrade to other headsets.
Well, it's your channel, so I will give you the last word, and I'll respectfully disagree. Moving on.
That's fine. That's totally fine. That is totally fine. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So interesting, but we are in a great position as VR fans, right? Like there's so many headsets out there. Meta is doing an amazing job, right? With these great options for the mainstream, where you cannot go so wrong, right? With $300 or $500, you're going to get a great experience for sure. Yeah. And just like you said, like wow, the $500 the Quest 3, it's so good. Like Microsoft Flight Simulator 24. Yeah, get the Quest 3. It's great with this new codec AV1 on virtual desktop. Oh wow, unbelievable. Yeah. It is good. It is really good. Yeah. So tell me a bit more about the motion seats that you're using. You have a really nice setup, right?
Oh,
that's like the one thing that I'm missing. You know, I have everything.
You tried motion, because I remember a video many years ago when you were, I think, testing dynamic foveated rendering. You were on a motion rig or something. It was many years ago.
Yeah, right.
So you tried it.
I love it. I just don't have the space. You know, it's a small room here. Gotcha. I don't think I can fit one.
Well, we'll talk.
So tell me.
I got to spin your. So here's the thing.
Make me spend more money.
yeah, I got to make your wallet bleed. Now you're making me buy a Megan X. So okay, so here's the thing. I mean, going back when I was 10 years old, 8 to 10, somewhere in there, I went to Disneyland, and I did Star Tours for the first time.
Okay.
And I'll never forget, like, I experienced that, and I'm a Star Wars fan like crazy. And so my 10-year-old self is trying to figure out how I can build a cockpit out of cardboard, have little pinwheels with TIE. How can I get this experience at home, right? Wow. 10 years old trying to figure it out. I never, ever thought in my lifetime I'd actually have that. And now when I take virtual reality and add a motion platform to it, it's everything I ever dreamed of. And it's sitting in my basement. I don't have to wait in line for 4 hours to ride it. I can ride it all day long. Nobody's kicking me off. And basically, you remember the step when you went to VR, right? You probably played flat screen gaming, and then when you went to VR, remember that? Just it's a whole new world.
Unbelievable.
The motion platform does that same thing. It takes you to the next level, like VR took you to the next level.
Okay, you sold me. Which one do I need to buy to fit in a small room?
We can get you an H3. We'll figure something out. If you're interested, I'll see what I can do. But because you sim, right? You love racing and all that.
Yeah, I love actually flight simming. I'm really into flight simming.
And you're in a small space.
Yeah. I'm in a small space. Yeah.
Okay. DOF Reality has a motion platform for you. It's called a DOF Reality H3. You've seen Steve, VR Flight Sim guy, right?
Of course.
He's got the H2. We would be able to get you an upgrade. You would get the yaw motion. It doesn't take that much more room, just a little more room. But you would actually, he has pitch and roll, and the H3 would give you pitch, roll, and yaw. And so if you're flight simming and you're racing, I mean, now I have the H6, which is bigger, but it gives me motion in every direction, and for racing, it's unreal. And for flight,
in
it's
every
unreal.
Direction, like 6 DOF or what?
6 DOF. I can move. I pitch, roll. I heave. I surge. I sway. It's got yaw. It's got everything. And if you go to my channel, anybody that's watching, if you go to my channel, There's tons of video. In fact, we've been playing Elite Dangerous lately, and Elite Dangerous is one of the coolest experiences in a motion platform. It's unbelievable. And so my channel, if you go to the live, we do live stream it, go to the live tab, and you'll see this thing in action. You'll see it moving like crazy. And then flight sims, do you do military, do you do DCS or anything, or do you do just general aviation?
General aviation, yeah.
So I love DCS. I like fighters. And so when you do a catapult launch off a carrier and this thing throws you backwards.
Cool. That sounds fun, though.
It's sold like all day long. As soon as that's one of my favorite things is a catapult launch off a carrier deck in the motion platform. And then also when you come in and you catch the wires, throws you forward. I mean, it's awesome. So, all right. So we'll talk. We'll see. You need one. I got to spend your money now. So
what kind of what kind of money are we looking into it for? Like the H3. That's one. You think it's not huge? Yeah, I can fit it in this small room.
I think the footprint's 3x5. That's like you need a 3 foot by 5 foot space. It's not much bigger than a chair.
I don't know what foot means. I don't know meters.
Probably about a meter by, say, 1 meter by 2 meters. Roughly.
That sounds doable. That sounds pretty doable.
Give or take. And do you have a rig or like a sim cockpit or anything that you have steering wheel? You don't have anything?
No.
Okay. Because it's basically the same size as something like that. But
okay.
But in
Germany, I have it. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's doable then. Okay, cool.
Yeah. And it's just like I said, the thing that it does, especially with VR, some people run them with flat screens, and you can do that. But when you combine the virtual reality with this motion, it's second to none. It just if you are into sims, like there are times that for a split second, I honestly thought I was in an F-18. Like there are just split seconds where I look back and for a split second I honestly forget I'm in my room and for just a split second I think I'm actually in the vehicle. So
that's what it's all about, right? Immersion. That is exactly what it's all about. Wow, I love
it. It's so cool.
Yeah, I can tell. Like how these kind of things like haptics can also play into it, and then motion on top of that. It must be the best thing. I now have I have a force feedback yoke now for flying. It's such a game changer. It feels so good.
We got to get you set up.
Yeah. So what kind of monies are we talking about? How expensive is that?
So they start the base models like what we're talking about, like an H2 or an H3. Are somewhere in the $2,000 to $2,500 zone.
Yeah, that's
so it's really no worse than a top tier video card. Like the 5090 is going to probably be right around there.
Exactly.
Mine's a little more expensive. Mine actually was when I bought it. It was closer to $6,000. They've gone up a little bit with shipping and everything. Materials, everything's going up. So I think the H6 now is somewhere around between $6,000 and $7,000. But here's the coolest thing. If you're not sure, just like you said with VR, you're not sure, you can start with a smaller model, and then if you decide, this is amazing, you can get upgrade kits and get up to the 6 DOF as your budget allows.
That is cool.
So it's cool that you can start small, and if you're like, you fall in love with it, you go, okay, I need the upgrade kit, and you're all set. But definitely DOF, there's several out there, but DOF Reality, in my opinion, is the best value. In the market, because if you look at a lot of these others, you're talking $10,000, $20,000 for a lot of these other ones. They're expensive.
Can be 20,000. I've seen others which are like
100,000. I've seen a lot of yeah. So when you look at it that way, the 2.5 to 3,000, not too bad.
It sounds doable.
It's definitely doable.
Just the space. So for the 6 DOF one, you do need quite a lot of space, right? So your whole basement is like a. It's like a VR Wonderland, or
no? It's not. Yeah, kind of. Well, I've got a separate VR. I've got a separate room upstairs for room scale VR. So it's because what I learned, and you may have learned this early too. When I first started VR, I was doing it downstairs, and I learned very quickly you need to have high ceilings if you're going to be doing room scale VR. Because the first time I went to throw a grenade, and I'm in an open area in VR, I bashed my hand into the ceiling, and I'm like, okay, note to self, thank goodness I didn't have a ceiling fan, but you got to have high ceilings if you're going to do room scale VR. So, so I have a room scale VR upstairs, and then the motion platform's down here in my office, and it's not bad. It takes up about probably about a 2x2 meter, I'd say, give or take. It's about a 2x2 meter area that you need. A little less than that. It's 5 feet by 6 feet is what I have in the U.S. So, but roughly 2 meter by 2 meter would be the space you need for that. So, but that's awesome. I mean, it's like I said, once you've done it, once you've added motion, it's like trying to go back from VR. Once you've experienced VR, you can't go back. Same thing. Once you experience motion, it just feels wrong without it. So,
wow, it's really cool that you can play this all day long. You know, just like you said, like, okay, you don't have to go to Disneyland anymore to see those rides, right? You can just do it like a whole day. You can play Star Wars Squadrons like the whole day in this thing. You know, like, wow. We're so lucky to be alive right now in this time where we get all this stuff, right? Where we get into this, where we get all this VR stuff, motion stuff. Wow. Yeah,
yeah.
Good.
I mean,
good to be alive.
It is. It's amazing. It's amazing that these are even possible. This is even a possibility to own in your house. All the VR, motion platforms, all this stuff. It's just like you said. It's an amazing time to be alive, and it's an amazing time to be an enthusiast for this kind of stuff.
Perfect. So again, call to action for all the people who are listening and watching this podcast now. Go to YouTube and find Get Your Game On, and to see Mark on his channel, like geeking out over all of that fun stuff that we all love so much. Perfect. Great that I know like a specialist for those motion platforms. That's really the next thing I need. Really.
Okay. We'll talk after the show. We'll make sure we get you dialed into what you need and get you set up and make sure I spend as much of your money as I possibly can.
Exactly. Right. That is payback because I make all of you like spend so much money on the Mega Nex.
I know.
So right. Oh wow, what a hobby. But again, it's still cheaper than many other hobbies, right?
Oh yeah,
exactly. Like cars and I don't know what you can do, all kind of things, flying and stuff. Wow, that must be so expensive.
Airplanes alone, just the fuel and the maintenance. Yeah, for sure.
Exactly. No, let's just do it in VR and be happy about it. Okay, cool. So that was the first kind of topic area that we wanted to talk about, like your motion experience, motion simming experience, and experiences in VR in general. Very nice. Glad to have you on the show again.
Well, thanks. It's my pleasure to be here.
Cool. So let's talk about the next big thing. So the XR industry is kind of starting to shape into something very exciting. So obviously Oculus started the whole thing, then Meta buying it and ruling it for the last few years, right? They are really the biggest player in this industry right now. And then since this year, we also have Apple, who joined with the Apple Vision Pro, which I also own. Actually, I flew to the States to buy it. I'm crazy for this kind of things.
That's okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
It's what we do. It's what we do.
What we do for our hobbies. And now, actually, Samsung and Google, they have now talked about their plans, and they have officially unveiled Android XR, the XR platform from Google. So they want to do the whole Android thing again, but now for XR, for our favorite platform. Very interesting. And together with Samsung, they have shown the new Samsung headset. So let me share my screen and let's have a look at this new device from Samsung, which is going to launch next year. So wait a moment. Let me find it. Where is it? Here. So let me share this now. Do you see my screen?
I do. Yep, that's
Perfect.
it.
That's it. So here we go. Here we are on Road to VR, and here it is. So it looks good. It does remind me a bit of the Apple Vision Pro, though, right? What do you think?
It looks like the Apple Vision Pro and the Quest Pro went out on a date, and this is the offspring to me.
Yes, so right.
That's what it looks like to me. So
yeah, you're right. Absolutely right.
It's very interesting. See, and right off the bat, I cannot stand having open face, so I hope they're going to have a full gasket. That was the thing that kept me away from the Quest Pro because I don't like having any open. I don't even like the nose opening on the Quest 3. Like, I have to cover that. I don't like any outside light. So that's the big thing on this, that if it needs to have some sort of encasing, because I like to be fully immersed. But do we know anything about it? I tried to look up specs. I don't know if it's OLED.
No.
Being Samsung, I'm going to guess it's going to be QLED screens, I'd imagine. But I couldn't find out anything.
No, me neither. Also, in these articles from RotoVR and UploadVR, they didn't actually talk about it at all. So probably they either they were not given any information, or it's still under wrap. I think they know what kind of technology it is, those who tried it, but probably there's some kind of embargo until we get the full specs from the companies. I think that makes sense.
Yeah.
So who knows? It might also be OLED, right? If they want to compete against the Apple Vision Pro micro OLED, could be.
It feels like it should be, but again, with it being a Samsung headset, I'm leaning towards QLED. Plus, I'd imagine they want to get the price down. How much do you think? I have an idea of what I think it's going to cost. What do you think this thing's going to cost?
I think they are not going to go over the $2,000 mark. So I believe it's going to be $1,899 or $1,999. What do you think?
I was going between 15 and 2, $19.99.
Okay.
So I figured somewhere between 15 and 2. I'm sure they would love to target about 1,000, because I think that's
going to be tough, though.
That's a good, but I don't think that's going to be happening. I'm pretty sure it's going to be 15 to 2, which when you compare it to the Apple Vision, it's still considerably cheaper.
And probably it's going to do exactly the same stuff like the Apple Vision Pro, just with Android apps, which is amazing, honestly speaking. So I think this might be a very interesting device, and in general also an interesting platform. So the form factor, it looks good, right? It looks very slim. We don't know yet what is behind this this front thing here.
Yep.
But probably it's micro OLED, because if it was QLED, like the Pimax headsets, you would need some other technology to make it. I think it would be bigger. So I think this should be micro OLED.
That'd
who knows?
be cool. I'm a fan.
We'll find out.
So, and if I remember correctly, it's got the tethered battery pack, so it isn't an integrated battery. So
right.
So there's that. But I'm really torn, because, and I was this way with the Apple. I don't really see the mass use case for this yet. And again, I will say it's amazing. So when I first got the Quest 3, that was the first time I ever did mixed reality. And being able to have your screens and stuff in front of you is amazing. Being able to put a 120-inch television on the back wall and watch it just like it was really there is incredible. So I'm not discounting the technology, and I'm very glad that they're coming to market, because we need competition. But I just don't think there's quite the use case in general for this yet, because I think there's still a stigma out there of people putting these things on their heads. I mean, they don't want to mess up their hair. They don't, so I think for the general public, I don't know how well this will be adopted, other than the early adopters and the people that are really techie, just like the Apple. I think it's going to follow a similar pattern. Now, the thing that might save them, and I haven't heard anything about this, but if they can get PCVR on here, that's the market that would be into it. But if they shun the PCVR crowd, I don't know that it's going to be successful. I don't know. That's kind of where I stand.
Mark, let me tell you that right now. I can tell you right now, this has Steam VR streaming out of the box and controllers.
Okay, then you're good. They'll have they're gonna do better than Apple. Then they're gonna do better than Apple.
Okay, that's it, right? It's decided now. Yeah, really. So they thought about it. It has Steam VR streaming built in.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's good, and they have their own motion controllers. We don't know yet if they are going to be optional as an optional purchase, or if they're going to be in the box. I believe probably it's an optional purchase for people like us.
Probably, yeah.
And the rest will be like eye tracking and hand tracking, just like the Apple Vision Pro. But there are controllers, and they thought about it, and that is pretty sweet. That might be a really exciting device, actually.
Well, and I've talked about this with a lot of my viewers. We get in discussions on the live streams and stuff. And I will say the one big use case I can see for this technology, and it really opened my eyes when I was talking to some of my viewers, is the ability to record the home movies in three, getting your 3D spatial video recordings, and being able to record little Johnny's baseball game, and the birthday parties, all those events, and being able to store those, I think is a use case that the average person can get behind and go, oh yeah, that I want it for that. So I think that is really the use case that might drive this technology and get people interested, because once those memories are gone, the kids grow up, you can't go back and get them. Although it does sound like this has the technology to go back and make 3D movies and videos out of previous photos. So
could be, yeah.
Who knows?
Artificial intelligence. They can do all the stuff. Yeah. So in terms of use cases, I think the restriction right now is the form factor. Like you're not going to wear this going out, right? If you're not an exhibitionist or something, or like a super extrovert, right? But the what these can do already, like what the Apple Vision Pro can do, is great. Like these huge OLED screens that I can have anywhere I want to watch my Star Wars in 3D when I'm on a flight, for example. Wow, that's so good. That is incredible, and I'm actually doing this. Or to have like a bigger screen for doing my work, my video editing. Yeah, that really works well. And then I'm thinking about all the people who are visually impaired and who need a huge screen. I love that use case.
Yes.
That they can now have huge screens, and they can really also work,
make it as big as you want.
Yeah, exactly. They can read books now, and I love it. This is a great use case. So, but the restriction still is just the size, right? I don't want to go out with this or with the Apple Vision Pro, but this will change, right? It's just a matter of a couple of years where probably what this can do is going to be in one of these Meta headsets, or right? Then it's mainstream.
That is exactly what I was going to say. What you're seeing right here is not going to become mainstream and adopted by everyone. No. The glasses, is where this is going to just take off. I mean, I'm a big proponent of when that tech comes, and it's awesome that we've got two players now. We've got Meta doing theirs, and now we've got Google. They're working on theirs. So you're going to have competition in the marketplace, which is going to drive, and Apple. Yeah. So you're going to have competition, driving innovation, driving prices. The glasses thing is going to be huge. The battery life, obviously, that's one of the big things we got to tackle. Need a small fusion reactor back there so we can keep them powered. But yeah, I mean the glasses. When that hits and that tech, that will be the next cell phone. That'll be what cell phones became. Those AR glasses are going to be like cell phones for people. So that's going to be a huge, huge market.
Yeah, just think about it. We don't need any physical displays anymore. I want to see something. I just do this here, boom, and then I have this nice OLED screen in front of me, and then all these headsets in the future. They're all going to be connected, so I could, if I'm here at home with my wife, we both wear like this headset, and then we can make a huge screen that we both see, or anywhere we are. We don't have to be at home. That's the point. We can be on holiday or in somewhere together, and just make a huge screen that we both see. Yeah. This is where it's going to go. So definitely great that we have now another player with Google, like a huge one. And I truly believe that this is going to be a big player. Obviously, right? Google is huge, but they also have a good chance of becoming successful, in my opinion, because they're not going to go with this high price strategy like Apple, right? Apple, they're doing like amazing products. There's no question about it, but it's a high price strategy that they're.
You got to admire Apple. They're always on. They always have the same method. They always make amazing things and charge out the nose for them. So you got to admire the consistency there.
It works.
They're definitely not off brand. So
no, they're not off brand. And also, what I think is good about Apple is compared to Google, they're not making money with your data. Or not in that extent. Like Google's business is getting your data and showing you ads. That is the business. That's why things are cheap. That's why we can use Gmail and Google Maps for free, right? Because they know where we are at any time of the day. So they're making money with our data in different kind of ways. So yes, for Apple, it's true. I pay $3,500 for the Apple Vision Pro, but well, that's how they make their money instead of using my data. I like it. But I also understand if people love Google for giving us like cheaper tech, and that's why I believe that their headsets will be successful. Also, they have all the Google apps inside, so you can use all the Google Play Store apps in this headset, which is it's a big plus, and that is, honestly speaking, a big advantage over Meta. So Meta is amazing for all the games, no question about it. Yeah. But they're having a problem because Apple and Google, they have flat apps, Discord and all the thousands of apps that we love to use. Yep. And they have them right there in the headset. But Meta has not, right? So it's a problem for Meta.
So do you think we're going to get the Meta phone coming out next? Meta's going to be like, all right, Google, you're kind of stepping in my backyard. I'm going to step in yours. So we'll see what happens.
Well, that's what they missed that platform, right? They missed the phone platform at all, and they are kind of dependent on Google and Apple for that phones. So that's why they wanted to be first in XR and that new platform. But well, Meta, Apple and Google are coming now, and they're coming strong. Also because they have that phone infrastructure with the flat apps. It's super exciting.
It's
super exciting.
It's in 10 years we're not going to recognize the world. I mean, this is going to revolutionize how people interact. It's going to revolutionize so much. It's going to make so much more convenience. I mean, think about, you're never going to get lost. You're going to be able to, follow track. I mean, it's just everything that the phone can do, only the next level when you incorporate the AI into it and everything. And back to the the Android XR. If we can get a standard, I mean, that's the nice thing. We get a good standard that incorporates gaming, incorporates all things VR, XR, AR. That's really what we need, because then you think of the development. It's so much easier than trying to develop for all these different things. If they can really get a strong foothold and really get people involved, look at Android now. I mean, just the regular platform. There's so much. There's apps.
Fantastic.
For anything you could possibly want, there's an app for it. Can you imagine that if that was the case with the VR, AR, or XR? It'd be fantastic.
It will be. It's an exciting future. 2025 is going to be a good year. So let's talk a moment more about the Samsung headset here that we're still looking at. So what are your thoughts about this not having a soft strap, but this kind of fixed strap like the Quest Pro?
I've always liked the clamshell design myself. Even on my Quest 3, I know everybody runs the Bobo. I actually ran a Bimbonk because I like the clamshell design. It feels better to me. So I don't mind that. Again, until you try it on and get the comfort, who knows? Because how firm is that weird whatever that visor part is? I mean,
right.
I mean, who knows? But it definitely looks interesting. I'm a little more classic in my taste, so this is a little too futuristic for my personal aesthetic. But I also think it definitely looks futuristic and cool. So, there you go.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I agree. I also actually thought the Quest Pro was a very comfortable headset. So after you modded it a bit, so this could probably be comfortable as well. Just the only thing that is not great about this kind of design is that it's a bit tough to bring this when you're traveling. So I'm like traveling between Europe and Asia all the time, and sometimes going to the States, right? And then it's not so easy to bring a headset like this, which has this kind of like fixed hard head strap design.
I wonder if it's easy to detach, though. I wonder if it's easily. I don't know.
Doesn't really look like this, right? It looks a bit like it's like this, and that's what you get. So that is actually pretty good with the Quest headsets, that you can simply choose your Bimbonk or your Bobo or whatever. And that's good. Also for the Apple Vision Pro, right? It comes with a soft strap. It's very easy to bring the Apple Vision Pro anywhere, and if you really want like a hard strap when you're at home, you can just pop it on. Love it. So there's
a lot of questions on this. I'm anxious to see. I mean, I want to know the specs. I want to know the resolution. I want to know what panels. I want to know the battery life. I want to know it all, but obviously they're not ready to announce that yet. But it's going to be something to keep an eye on for sure. I'm excited to see what happens, because what was it, about a year ago when they basically had something ready to go, and they, the Apple came out and they're like, whoa, time out. And this is the result of them going back to the drawing board. That's exactly what this is here, is them stopping and coming back with a better product. So it's kind of cool.
Yeah. Wow. Well done. They were probably working like tirelessly, like day and night, to make this happen now, right? They have to make something fast, and here it is. That's what we're looking at now.
Yeah.
Interesting. So 2025 is going to be a very exciting year for XR, for our favorite industry.
Available for Christmas a year from now, you watch. It'll be available next year, about a year from now. That's when it'll be on sale. We'll see.
Probably take a while. Yeah, so very interesting. Google finally rejoining the race. So now the industry is really shaping up for this match. It's going to be Meta against Google against Apple. And all between those, there's also still Sony with the PSVR 2. And then there's Valve, who hopefully going to bring us their deck card at one point in time. Yeah, we have no idea when.
Right? It's got to come out eventually. Come on.
Probably next year. Probably going to happen next year. I have a good feeling about it.
I've been saying that for about 5 years now. So maybe next year. Yeah. I hope so. Because as well as I do, Valve usually sets a new standard, and they usually do something that nobody else has done. And that's what I'm most excited about, to see what they're going to bring that's going to change the market. So we'll see.
Yeah, it's probably going to be a headset, a standalone headset that is somehow tethered to a Steam Deck, like a local Steam Deck, some console thing. That would make sense in my opinion. Like a little player, a console player that could play all the Steam games on the TV. And then there's a deck card where you can play all the Half-Life Alyxes and Steam VR stuff, and then everything. Then they really completely can rule your home with this. Yeah, you can play the games on the big TV, but you can also play Steam VR games on it, so that might be nice. Wow.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to see.
Yeah.
I'm excited about Deck. I mean, I've been excited about Deckard for about 5 years now, but it's going to get here one of these days. It's got to. So
it will. 2025. I'm pretty confident about that. So not so much longer.
Yeah. Come on.
Yeah. Make it happen.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So that's that part. Talking about Android XR. Very exciting stuff. And now, our favorite topic. Our favorite company.
We're going to talk about this again.
Pimax. Yeah. Oh, you're getting a bit bored about it. I know. We've been talking about it on your channel like so often now.
I'm not bored. I have such mixed feelings. Mixed feelings, and that's why it's hard. Because it honestly tears my heart out. They should be dominating VR right now. They have the only product.
They could dominate. I'm telling you, man.
In that price point, with that quality, they're the only ones, and they should just be dominating. But yet they're not, because they, like you said, they get in their own way way too much. So I'm torn, because I'm a big advocate for customers. I mean, I love seeing tech and everything, but you have got to treat the customer right, and you
absolutely,
you just have to in all business. And when you see bad customer service or anything, it's unexcusable, and I can't get behind a company that doesn't do it. Now, I will say, for anybody that's watched the thing, Jap has been in touch with me, and it sounds like they're making a lot of strides to improve things. But then, as well as I do, we've heard this story how many times now? I mean,
a lot of times. For all of the viewers and listeners who have no idea what we're talking about, let's start from the beginning.
Okay.
So, yeah, right. Yeah, because not everybody has followed the story, so let's do it. So
this is why you're the host. This is why you do so well at this. You bring me back to earth here. All right, take it away.
Yeah, right. So let's start from the beginning. You have bought a Pimax Crystal Lite, right? Is it Lite, or which one did you buy?
The original.
The original one.
The original.
Okay, you bought the original.
So excited.
Okay. So then it arrived at your doorstep, and did it work directly, or what was the matter?
You always get your little Pimax things where it doesn't always hook up and all the little things, but nothing to mention. And it worked for about 7 months. It just was great. Loved
great
it.
Headset. Yeah, same here.
I mean, this is how bad I wanted the headset. It wasn't a whim. I had just purchased the Vario Aero, which is a $2,000 headset. Largely based on your videos, because you were blown away by that one, and I'm like,
I was.
If he's that blown away, this veteran's that blown away, and I have to admit, the Vario Aero blew me away too. I loved it, absolutely, still love that company.
The visuals were so amazing.
Everything about it, and like you always talk about that silky, the glossy screen. Something about that screen I still don't see. I think the VR1 was the closest thing I'd seen to the Vario. Okay. But something about that screen was magical. But anyway, so there's no way I could afford a new headset that close. Well, my friends and family saw how excited I was. I was probably talking about the Pimax up and down, left and right, and they actually, for Christmas, they all pooled their money, and they gave me enough that I could afford to buy it. That's how bad That's how bad I wanted the Pimax. And I have great friends and family. I mean, obviously, but they stepped up. And it was called Pimax Money. They all made these little Pimax Money bills, and they gave me enough I could get it. And so that's how excited I was about this thing. And like I said, for 7 months it worked great. And then all of a sudden, out of the blue, the battery just stopped. Like, it wouldn't charge. So this headset needed a battery. This was their first version. It's not like the Crystal Light.
Right.
And all of a sudden, it used to last about 5 hours plugged in. It was fine. I could get a good session in. All of a sudden, it was 2 hours, and the battery was dying. And then I'd swap the battery, and it would last 2 hours. I'm like, okay, something's going on. This is abnormal. And then we started getting other issues. I went to use it one night, and one screen was completely out, and the other screen was flashing. And just from that point on, it just started declining, and got to the point I couldn't use it. So that was kind of what happened. And so we started the customer service, trek, and I did everything I could, everything I thought was fair, and it was just like beating my head against a wall. And the kicker was, to cut to the chase, the kicker was it was taking a long time to get the replacements because I demanded a new one. I did not want a refurb because I'm like, no, I paid money for a new one. I want a new one. And so you had to wait for them to get produced. Well, because of the length of time it took, all of a sudden they're like, well, you're out of warranty. So if you want to upgrade this, it's going to cost you another $339. And I'm like,
wow.
Wait a minute. The ticket was in May. My warranty was good through August. All this month's trying to get fixed. Now you're telling me I'm out of warranty, so it's going to cost me more. And that's when I was like, I'm done.
Yeah,
I was done. I'm like,
yeah, of course.
I can't handle this. And it was a big misunderstanding, the typical thing. And I still don't know. Obviously Pimax comes out, and on my channel, I let them come on and give their side of the story. Yeah, and they said it has nothing to do with my YouTube channel, has nothing to do with the 35,000 people that saw it. They would have done this for anybody.
No.
We'll never know.
I don't think so. I'm sorry to say that. I really don't think so.
No. There's a lot of people out there that don't have a YouTube channel that are having problems.
Unfortunately, I'm getting kind of a lot of emails from disgruntled Pimax customers who write to me.
Yeah.
Who write to me like, Sebastian, check out this history, the discussions, and then they sent me the emails that they send with Pimax, and I'm telling you, man, it's hilarious. I could make the best videos here on YouTube just reading what their customer support says. It would get so many clicks. But it's so evil, right? So I'm not doing it, but it's so sad that this is still the case. And just like you mentioned in the beginning of this section, they have promised it over and over. We could have had this conversation 4 years ago.
Yeah.
And at that time they also have promised, okay, now, no, our customer service is going to get much better now, and we're changing our ways, and we're finally becoming transparent. And then they're doing this transparency things for a couple of months, and then it fades away, and then we're back to square one. And then some YouTuber like me or you have to make another video like this to call them out on it. Oh, and then the cycle starts again, where they feel sorry for a couple of months, And there's a good employee like Jaap. I think he's a great guy, right? Yeah. And then you have hope, right? But we had the same hope also like before Jaap. They also had great people working for them, like Kevin Henderson, for example, right? But then after a while, these people go because they get frustrated internally with Pimax.
And it was interesting because I knew there would be a lot of people that had issues. And so in my comments section, oh my goodness, far more stories than I expect. I expected to see a lot. It's more than I expected to see. Everybody with horror stories that are just like, I am so sorry. I am so sorry. And I truly, from the bottom of my heart, hope that Jaap is able to change it. But the problem is, this is a corporate culture. And I've been in business enough with big companies. Changing a corporate culture is one of the hardest things that you can ever do. And it almost takes starting over from scratch and just basically, purging everything and starting over, because that culture is so ingrained. And that's why I worry that I don't know that he's going to have the pull to change it unless it's a concerted effort. And I hope it is. I really, really want Pimax to succeed.
Me too.
But I've been down this road so many times. I'm like, I don't want to get my hopes up. I don't want to be disappointed again.
Agreed. So you're so right about culture, and changing it is tough, and it's even tougher in a Chinese company. Like the hierarchies are so strong, Like in the Western world, the hierarchies are getting lower, right? It's getting more flat. Right. Like there's no problem with a normal employee talking to the boss and telling him your opinions and stuff, and you kind of have an influence on the Western bosses. This kind of culture has changed in our world. But in China, man, I'm telling you, it is not like that. The boss is the boss.
And you're in Taiwan, so you're close.
I'm Taiwan. So I'm very close. I'm very close. I've also worked here in Taiwan, and it's the same here. It's like, okay, this is the boss, and you depend on this guy, right? And he's right. Whatever he says. So there's not this kind of like discussion culture so much that makes our Western companies like better. Really, it makes them better. The Western companies make less mistakes because it's not just a dictator that will tell the company, okay, no, we're now doing this. It's really more of more people who can input their wisdom and their experience into decisions, and that is lacking. That is simply lacking in lots of Asian companies where you have like one or two strong people who make all the decisions, and that is the case. So as much as I like Jaap, I think it's going to be tough to change things.
And I like to believe that even if it's a Chinese company, I like to believe that if there's strong enough will to truly fix it, that there's a way to do it. If CEO we've got to emulate more Western company, tactics and stuff. I mean, it's got to be possible. I have to believe it's possible. It might be extremely difficult, but it's got to be possible, don't you think?
No, it is possible. It is absolutely possible. Like, I also know them all personally, also the management, and they are also all very nice people, right? Don't get me wrong. They're really good and nice people. Just like we would need a bit more of Western style kind of management, in my opinion. Like, and it is possible. Like, for example, one company that is also from China but has completely adopted like the Western way of management is DJI. Like the company that does drones and stuff. Like most people probably don't even know that they are a Chinese company because they are just doing very well. Like very Western style stuff. So it is possible for these Chinese companies to become like successful companies also on the Western markets. And I still have hope for Pimax.
Yeah.
And I really hope that they're going to make it happen. But
when you see
the decisions,
I know.
Yeah.
And it's so. I mean, we did everything we can. I mean, Jeff Weaver and I did a video.
I love the video. Everybody has to watch it. It's so good. Tell us a bit. What is the video about? Tell us.
We sat down. I mean, because I was raised and coming up through business that you don't come to management with a problem. You come with a solution. that was always ingrained in us going through business and everything. You come here with a solution. So it's like, okay, how do we get a solution? Even though it's not my job to fix Pimax, it's like, well, can I at least offer
you did it.
a solution?
I love it.
Jeff Weaver is as a master. I mean, he worked in customer service for Amazon. He's got a resume that rivals anybody out there as far as his ability. And if you watch the video, you can tell in the way he speaks that he knows his stuff.
So good.
Yeah, he's smart.
How do you know him?
He's a smart man.
What is he doing? Like, wow, he's so good.
I got to know him because he's a big guru. He's actually the guy that makes all the motion profiles for our motion platforms. He's the guy that does the default profiles for the software. So that's how I got to know him. And
cool dude.
So he's a big deal. But you listen to him, and we went through and said, this is how, and it wasn't just a bash Pimax. It was legitimate, it was a dissertation about how you run a business and how you should run a business and how you make it successful. And I was shocked because we didn't script it or anything. I just, hey, Jeff, let's talk about it. Yeah. And it was totally a freeform like this. And, he just knows. So we've given Pimax the blueprint. And we're not charging him for it. It's like, go do these things if you want to get better. Please do these things. We want you to succeed. But then I'm like, but are they going to? And time will tell. Time will tell.
The answer is no. Like, I'm telling you, like, behind the scenes, I have good connections with them. And I've given them, like, so many fantastic advice, in my opinion. It's fantastic advice. But they never follow it. They still just do their own things. And then they get lots of backlash, and then they have to change everything.
Yeah, I'm gonna stay optimistic. I'm gonna hope, and then I'm gonna be disappointed, and you're gonna be like, "Told you so." So I'm pulling for you, Pimax. I'm pulling for you. Yeah. Come on. So
yeah, we all are, and I'm like incredibly excited about the Pimax Super. It could basically be the headset next to the Mega Nex that is going to dominate 2025. Because it basically has everything that we want, right? Even high resolution, finally again, more FOV, smaller footprint. Basically, it's what we want. So, I am excited about it.
I was.
Wow, you're finished. You are finished, man.
Here's the thing, and this is going to sound weird. It doesn't even have to do with my experience. I mean, that's obviously part of it. But this subscription thing that they're doing, I don't like it. It just feels. It just feels. I just don't like. I mean, I can't. I personally can't recommend. I don't trust it. I mean, for lack of a better term, I don't trust that. Now, if that was an optional thing for payments, I'm like, okay, great. That's cool that you're doing that. But that's the only way to get this headset. You have to go through that payment program, and so I don't feel like I can recommend, even though the headset's going to be amazing. I don't feel comfortable recommending it because I don't trust whatever this subscription model is. It doesn't make sense to me.
Why not make it optional? It does not make sense. Why not make it optional? Why not let us decide, okay, I want this Prime, and that's okay. I'm fine with paying 24 months, like every month, or paying it in advance, this subscription, this Pimax Prime subscription, or just do it completely the old way and just buy the headset outright, or have some standard installment plan with PayPal or with Shop or whatever they have.
Yeah,
I don't get it. It's like an unforced error, like an really completely unforced error.
Absolutely. And the other thing that bothers me, and this is probably just me being, paranoid or whatever, the simple fact that they can turn my headset off at any point, that bothers me immensely. Because if I buy this and then all of a sudden, who knows what happens in the world, and all of a sudden my device is a brick, and I just paid $1,500, $1,700 for it, I with all the other things that I've encountered with Pimax, that's kind of like the nail in the coffin for me, that's even a possibility that they could brick my headset overnight if they wanted to, for whatever reason. And there'd be no repercussions because, like you said, Chinese company, what are you going to do? Nothing.
Yeah, that is really the point, that they can simply like turn off your device. And also, so many things can go wrong. I'm not even talking about people who don't pay and who should probably not get access to their own headset. But things can go wrong. The server can be down. There can be some problem with your bank. That's not your fault, right? But the payments didn't go through. And then
software glitch, firmware glitch.
Can happen to Pimax. Happened before.
Happens
and then
to everybody,
Yeah, and then suddenly your headset doesn't work anymore, and you did pay at least the $999 up front for then a paperweight. You know, that is really, really bad. And the problem is also they already have a bad reputation.
Yeah.
Right? They already have a bad reputation, and they should do everything to repair their reputation and not introduce something that feels somehow shady. Right?
Yeah, it does. It feels shady to me.
It's crazy. It's so strange.
I will defend Pimax in one regard, and I think this might be what gives me hope. Because, back in the day, with the 8Ks, the 5Ks, the software was atrocious. You know that the software was the problem with a Pimax headset.
Right.
And the software today is actually pretty good.
Good.
So they have improved. They can fix it. They can improve. I just hope they do it, like you said, they need to do it on a company-wide level. They need to reinstill trust in the company, or they're not going to have a chance. I don't care what tech they come out with. If you keep hosing customers and they don't trust you, you're not going to make it. You're eventually going to run out of new customers. And if you aren't fostering old customers, you're sunk. So again, watch my video, Pimax, and implement what we tried to share with you. It's your best chance of having a chance in the marketplace. So fingers crossed for you. Fingers crossed, but I'm not going to say you're wrong. I'm not going to say you're wrong, Sebastian, because we've both been around it long enough. So we'll see.
Around it very long, exactly. So I still want to talk about Pimax Prime a bit more for a couple of more minutes. Like in the last podcast, we also talked about it, me and Tatiana, and it sparked like a very big comment section discussion. Some people were defending Pimax. But I don't think they really understood my points. So I want to make these points again here, so for everyone to understand them. I'm not saying that Pimax will stop to give you access to the device after 24 months after you have paid it. I believe them. I believe them that after you have paid for 24 months, you own the device and you never have to pay any more subscription to use it. Also, I understand that you can pay the 24-month upright. You can pay this subscription fee upright, and then also you own it. But still, there's lots of problems that still come with it, even though you own it after 24 months. First of all, and let me reiterate it again, it is going to harm the second-hand market. The value of those headsets is going to go down super fast, because now on the second-hand market, you are not going to be sure, okay, the device that I'm buying, is it already fully paid off? Or do I get a device that still has 24 months in front of them? So introducing this uncertainty will already bring the price down. This is just how markets work. If there's uncertainty, the prices will go down. That's true for the stock market, for crypto, and also for headsets. So now with every single Pimax headset, you will not know, okay, what is the actual status of this headset? So that is already bad, and prices will go down on the second-hand market, which sucks. Then, about the service. The service is bad, as you can tell from Mark's emails, right? From Mark's video.
What? Yeah. Tell me more about that. What?
Yeah. Watch your own video, man. And the problem is, the service will even get worse, because the service team will be flooded with stupid tickets that just because of Prime. Yeah, hello, dear Pimax team. I just bought it. I bought the Super off eBay and it doesn't work. What's going on?
You're right.
Like hundreds of stupid discussions that the service team now has to do on top of the real problems.
I didn't even think about that. You are 100% right about that.
Right. There's going to be so much more tickets that the service team has to work on that are nonsense. Like people who have bought it secondhand and now they wonder, okay, how do we transfer the Prime subscription from the first user who has paid 3 months off to me, so I only have to pay 21 months of this subscription off. Hundreds of new customer service emails will make the service even worse than it is right now. And for what? For nothing. For absolutely nothing. Because this kind of Prime thing is not Prime at all. So they have said after 24 months, you still have the same service basically, right? So after 24 months, when you've paid off the thing, you will still be able to use your Pimax with Pimax Play, but there's nothing special about it. So everyone has the same. There's nothing special about Prime. You know, for some subscription, normally you would hope that you get something more, something premier, right? When you pay some money for it, but you don't. You just get access to their Pimax Play software.
You know, and that's the thing. I can't figure out what the angle is. It doesn't make sense to me, and I can't figure out why this was even came up in discussion in the boardroom. Do you have any idea?
Yeah.
Why? What's the rationale for doing this?
Okay. So, in my opinion, actually, if you think about it, it makes sense. The rationale, in my opinion, would be to build another revenue stream with subscriptions.
Okay.
So you would hope that you give people like such a great and premier service that they, even after the 24 months are gone and they don't have to pay anymore, they still want to continue paying like a lower fee, let's say $6.90, to get access to extra services, like for example access to beta software, some new profile that gives you better dynamic 5D rendering, for example, right? So they would want to build the base to make this happen, like special services that you want to pay for. And that is a valid idea. That is a valid idea because probably they have found out that their current business model doesn't work because, well, probably their margin is not very high because the headsets are not so expensive actually for what you get. But then there's lots of costs associated with the customer service later, with people like RMAing them, like you want to do, right? So in the end, it seems that it's not a sustainable business right now. Also because their own fault, because the headsets are not good enough in terms of quality control and stuff, right? So it seems like they're not making enough money out of it. So the general idea, I totally understand it. Make it so that there will be a continuous revenue stream with people who are so happy with that Pimax Prime service that they want to keep on paying. Let's say a lower fee of $6.90 per month, but they get probably extended warranties, or they get like access to the latest dynamic 4D rendering betas, and so on and so forth.
Access to beta or something like that.
For example. Okay. So actually, the idea behind it makes sense for a company, but the way they're introducing it is, of course, completely nonsense. Now they're kind of disguising it as a payment plan, right? They want to every communication now seems like they want to make it feel like a payment plan, but what sense does it make? Right?
Do a payment plan. I mean, do a payment plan if that's what you want to do. Do a payment plan.
Do a standard payment plan.
Yeah.
But so in my opinion, again, it's valid to introduce a new business model, like a subscription or something that is optional. Again, optional. You know, this optional subscription should be so good that people want to join it.
Yeah.
You know, it should be like, wow, cool. If I join this, I get a longer warranty, perhaps extended warranty, and I also get access to the latest betas, like, I don't know, more FPS, thanks to some software magic. I probably would subscribe. But now, how they communicated it's like so wrong and so bad.
Well, here's the problem. I mean, I'm just going to take a step back. You know, okay, we tried with the original Crystal to get our revenue stream by doing our store with their software. We're going to be the next Meta. You know, obviously that didn't work out, and that's all gone, right? I mean, that's not even a thing anymore, right?
No,
as far as I know.
Right.
So that didn't work, and now, okay, let's try a revenue stream by doing this. How about you try? Just hear me out here. How about you try making a product that's needed in the marketplace, make it good, make it high quality, make it low returns, and see what that gets you versus, I mean, think about all the money they're spending to develop these various products. They've got 3 different optical engines for this one. They're still developing the 12K. You think about all the things, the handheld deck, all the things that they keep grabbing stuff and throwing it against the wall to see what's going to stick. Cut it down, do a product or some variations of a product, and just sell that. You would cut so much waste out of your business.
Right.
I mean, and Jeff talked about all that in the video. It's like
he's right. He's totally right.
Just focus on what's needed in the market. The Crystal Light is your competitive advantage because there's nothing like it.
It's great.
You're talking the Super.
Exactly.
Okay, now you're getting close to VR1, the base model of the VR1. You're talking the OLED of the Super. The Megan X is coming out. You are entering in a crowded market with competition versus your Crystal Light has no competition right now.
You're right.
And it's what are you doing?
And it's a great headset. I love it.
Pimax.
No, really. It's so crazy. You're so right. The Pimax Crystal Light is the only headset in this category. Like under $1,000. It's super high end. The visuals, right? It has its own tracking. You don't need base stations.
When it works. So good when it works.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
Yeah. So it's really not understandable. And then the Super, the thing with those modules, with those cassettes. Oh man. Now they have introduced like another Super model. So before they only had the Super and the OLED run, the Super QLED and the Super OLED, right? Now suddenly they also have like this a bit wider FOV model, the 50 ppd model. So now they have the 57 ppd model and the 50 ppd model. Like we are enthusiasts, so we can hardly follow it. Yeah.
I got to ask you something. Do you? I'm going to ask you this, and because I'm dumbfounded. Do you really think we need a 57 ppd VR headset? Do you think you're going to see the difference between the 50 and the 57, or is it just a marketing gimmick so that they can claim to have the highest ppd in the marketplace?
Could be. Yeah. This of course this could be, but unfortunately, this kind of marketing sucks because it confuses people.
Yep.
If there was one Super and it's the one headset which is the one to go, people would pre-order it. But now, what do I see in my comment sections on? I don't know which one, 50 or 57. We first have to have somebody we trust have to look through it. Sebastian. Yeah, okay, so for me it's good because my job is kind of secured, right?
Yeah.
I will look. Thank you, Pimax.
Job security here.
Job
MRTV,
secured, thanks to Pimax.
good.
Exactly. I'll be there for the next few years still to look through those Pimax headsets and tell you which ones to get. But it doesn't make sense for them to have this. It just feels like, okay, here, it doesn't make sense.
Everybody wants wide field of view, and Pimax is known for wide field of view. Why are you even messing with the 57 other than you want to be able to tout you have the highest PPD in the industry? That's the only reason I see them doing it, is so that they can stamp it on their marketing and say, yes, we have the highest one. You don't need it. Go to your 50 with your wider. It's supposed to be what, 130 degree field of view with the 150. If I remember,
135. 135.
So think about that. A 50 PPD at 130 field of view.
I want it.
Right? It's like that's everything you want. The Vario era was 35, and it was amazing.
It was unbelievable.
50 PPD at 130 field of view. That's all you need. You don't need a 57 at 120. You don't need it.
Yeah.
Again, build one freaking headset and sell it.
Yeah.
Make one good headset and sell it.
Exactly. Exactly.
Try to be everything for everybody.
It's exactly.
We're ranting now.
How to say the jack of all trades, right? It's called. They want to be the jack of all trades. And
master
then it doesn't work. A master of none. Mm-hmm. Right, exactly. That's the problem. So it's unbelievable. I don't know. But anyways, there's always some interesting discussions because of Pimax. It never gets boring, right?
Yeah, it's never boring.
I can tell you're kind of frustrated after your customer service ordeal, right? Ordeal.
I want them to succeed, but man, it seems like they're doing everything they can not to. And that's my frustration. I really want them to succeed because they make tech that everybody wants. But when your tech doesn't work or it's full of defects or you can't get through to customer service, you can have the best tech in the world. If nobody can use it because it's broken, it doesn't do anybody any good. So it's so frustrating. So I do get frustrated with that. So
yeah, I get it.
Fingers crossed, Pimax. Fingers crossed. I wish you well.
Have you watched my interview with Kevin Henderson?
I did not.
You should watch it. It's he was the Pimax COO before, right? And now he has started his own company called Ingenious VR. And what he's doing actually, he's selling the Pimax headsets in the US with US customer service. And he's like checking each of those headsets for problems first. So if you buy through ingeniousvr.com, you will get headsets that work. So I think for many, you just watch my last video.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like
that's the way
thumbnail.
to do it.
Exactly.
If you're going to buy Pimax, you need to buy it through a second-hand retailer or that. I mean, that's the way to do it. Or Amazon, but the prices go up so high on Amazon. But that's the way to do it, so you don't have to deal with Pimax customer support directly.
Exactly.
Because then you can have that peace of mind. Because that's the hard thing. Nobody has any confidence in them right now. Everybody's so worried they're going to get stuck, and that's on you, Pimax. You made this bed, and time to lay in it. But anyhow,
So check out this video. I think it's an ingenious business idea to simply cut off this Chinese part and just make it US only, the sales and the customer service. And Kevin Henderson, because he has been the Pimax COO for years, he really understands those headsets. So hopefully he's going to carry the Pimax Super. So I believe for people in the US, this might be a fantastic option to buy the headset. And he also is not going to do Prime. He's just going to sell it outright to you. So check it out. Check out
I might be able to get behind that. I might be able to recommend that then, if that's
I think so.
So let me.
Yeah, that's a good
thing. I ask you a question?
Yeah, of course.
When do you think the 12K? Do you think the 12K is going to happen? And if so, when?
Wow, I really don't believe in this headset. I really don't think so. So. First of all, I really, really, really hated what they did with it. As in, like, told people, okay, you can buy an 8KX now, and the full price is going to go against the 12K, which is coming out very soon. Yeah? So you cannot make this kind of promises when actually you don't have a working 12K prototype.
Yeah.
You know, they came across some problems. I believe them that, but you cannot make these promises. You cannot make this bait and switch where you tell people, wow, no risk, buy an 8KX now. Because you want the 12K, you're going to get it, and the full price is going to be traded in for you. No. So if they bring it, if they would launch it, it's going to like hit them hard, because suddenly thousands of people want to have their money back, right?
Yeah.
And I see this is a big problem for them. So now they start to kind of trying to mitigate this by allowing people to get some money off the Super, right? Which is good, of course, but it's still just half. It's not the full price, but people have paid the full price for that 8KX. So that half price is some kind of consolation price, in my opinion, which is there to make people feel better about not getting the 12K, but the whole business ways that they've been doing just feels not right.
Yeah.
So for 12K, it's years off, in my opinion. Years.
That business model never made sense. I'm like, how can they do that?
Yeah, it didn't make sense.
It's never made sense to me. You're going to lose so much money. So, I tend to agree with you on your analysis there.
Yeah, no, that doesn't make sense. It's not going to come out. Probably when they are in a good place financially at some point in the future, which I hope they will be. Really, again, even though this podcast again sounded very critical, right? But I still want them to succeed. And when people like you and me are like this kind of critical in a public place like we are right now, we actually want to help them.
Yeah.
I actually want to help them, and I believe you want to help them too, right? We want to help them become a better company and, rule PCVR enthusiast world. They could. That's the point.
Yeah.
They could with their products.
They could. Right? The clock's ticking now, though. I think that window's closing really rapidly. I mean, obviously, we're just talking about the new Samsung. There's some stuff coming. Right. Deckard's coming someday. So they need to be quick. If they're going to make the changes and they're going to get some domination, they better move faster than slower.
They have to do it now. They really have to change their ways now. I totally agree with you, because like the Samsung headset, it's made. Basically, they're going to sell it cheaper than it actually is. They're going to subsidize it, right? So
the meta method.
Of course, they have to do it, right? So, and that's something where Pimax simply cannot compete.
Yeah.
So they better become better now. Yeah. I will also try again to help them. I will really offer them to help them. Really, but I'm not sure if it's going to if they want to take it.
Yeah,
advice.
Like I said, fingers crossed. Hope for the best, plan for the worst. I guess that's all we can do.
Exactly.
So,
exactly.
Anyways,
there was this, and that's it. We're through with all of our topics. Mark, how was it to be on the Next Dimension podcast?
It was truly an honor and a privilege, because, like I said, I watched you when I was first getting into the VR stuff, and to be talking to you one-on-one is truly it's amazing. So I really appreciate it. I had a great time.
Me too.
I'd love to come back if you ever need some American over here with an American's point of view. Just hit me up. I like it. Will do. I really enjoyed it to have you on the show, and I'm sure our viewers and listeners also enjoyed it very much to have you on the show. And again, the call to action: go to Get Your Game On now on YouTube. I'm going to link it in the show notes, so you can subscribe to the channel now and follow Mark. It's a great content. It's really great content, and it's so worth it. Well, thank you.
That's it for today's show. Thanks again, Mark, to be here. And I'm looking forward to have you here on the show next time.
Excellent. Anytime, my friend. I'd love to join you anytime.
Perfect. So, for all of you out there, if you enjoyed this, give it a thumbs up and leave a comment on any of the topics. Let us know what you think about Pimax Prime and the whole Pimax stories. Let us know what you think about Android XR and the Samsung headset. And simply leave a comment to tell the algorithm, yes, I like a 90-minute show with Sebastian and Mark.
That's man.
Fun.
That was fun. Yeah.
That was fun. So do that right now. And also, of course, it would be great if you could give us a 5-star review on Spotify or iTunes. So get out your iPad or iPhone, find the podcast app, find us, and leave us a 5-star review. That's everything that we got for this week. And we look forward to see you and we're looking forward to see you in the next one. Until then.
Absolutely. And all of this goodness is coming up. Wait,
get your game on.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Appreciate you listening.
Now, that was a wonderful show. Thanks again to today's sponsor that made the show possible, VR Wave. Check out their magnetic lens inserts for all current VR headsets and never use your actual glasses in VR again. VR Wave ships their high-quality lens inserts worldwide and is an MRTV trusted company. And even get a 5% discount if you use code MRTV. So what's not to like? So that's it for today. If you want to reach VR enthusiasts with your product, why not sponsor an episode just like VR Wave did? Simply get in touch with me. My email address is in the show notes. And that's all for now. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.